The March on Washington began on August 28, 1963, where more than 200,000 Americans, black and white, marched to achieve one goal: equality for all. The march occurred here in Washington, D.C. The march became known as the political rally for equality in jobs and freedom of segregation.
The event was designed to shed light on the political challenges of African Americans, such as Jim Crow laws and segregation in schools, as well as in the community. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his speech during the March on Washington, expressing his worries about civil rights in his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. Many people had attended the event.
The Big Six were the founders of the protest. The Big Six included James Farmer, Martin Luther King Jr., John Lewis, Rodney Wilkins, A. Philip Randolph, and Whitney Young, Jr.
For the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, during this time they hoped to improve what the NAACP represented. The 14th Amendment addresses citizenship rights and equal protection of the laws. Many felt the 14th Amendment was violated during this time. The Fair Labor Act was established for minimum wage, overtime pay, and youth employment. During the march, many also marched for this and hoped to raise the minimum wage to $2. For many, protesting was extremely important, and people would get together and put together maps of where they would march.
During the march, many celebrities such as Ossie Davis would perform to entertain. The 16th Street Baptist Church bombing fueled motivation for passing the Civil Rights Law to give equality. Many people opposed the March on Washington, and after a time they saw the good in it, such as President Johnson.
President Kennedy was another who opposed but slowly shifted his views. Protesters were often arrested by police officers, which is another example of people who opposed the march. Martin Luther King Jr. was a strong advocate for the march and was later arrested because of his beliefs. As a result of the March on Washington, the Civil Rights Act was eventually passed. Segregation in public places and banned employment discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin were all ended because of the Civil Rights Act, which MLK had hoped for in his "I Have a Dream" speech. The National Voting Rights Act was also passed after the march, and it prohibits racial discrimination in voting, and it was signed in law by President Johnson. In the end, the whole hope from the March on Washington was to get the Civil Rights Act passed, which was succeeded, and to bring equality for everyone, especially the African Americans. Today, many years after the March on Washington, everyone still celebrates the March on Washington and the success that occurred from it.